What is up, everybody? AJ Riley with Eric Vincent for your favorite Detroit sports show. Yes, I sound a little sick, but there ain't nothing that holds us down from bringing you the best content in the Metro Detroit area. Ain't that right, Eric?
Yeah, right, man. You still sound good. It's all good.
Hey, did we have fun on that live last night or what?
Always. Thank you, everybody who turned up with us. It was a great time.
Yeah, we got a jam-packed show for you tonight. Because we touched on the CJ Gardner-Johnson signing a little bit in the last show, but we got to touch on it more because my guy's back. He ain't covering the cruise tonight. We are ready to talk about CJ Gardner-Johnson and the impact that has on Jeff Okudah and the secondary. And then we're going to end the show by talking about 3 draft sleepers that you need to keep your eyes on. All of that and more is coming at you tonight. Before we jump into it, I do want to remind you that you can click that $ button below this video to give us super stickers or super chat. Help support us as creators and this channel so we can continue to bring you the best content the Detroit area has to offer. CJ Gardner-Johnson and 3 draft sleepers. We're getting into it. Let's go. All right, Eric, we are ripping and raring, and we are ready to go. I didn't get to talk to you about this.
No, I was very upset. I was very upset I had to miss, but here I am.
You wake up Monday morning.
Yes.
And CJ Gardner-Johnson is a Lion.
Oh, my gosh.
What is going through your mind, my man?
Brad Holmes, you did it again. That's exactly what I said. I was ready to go to sleep, and then here comes that bombshell. And I remember we were talking about some veterans and free agency players that we were interested in. And my corner that I wanted was Jamel Dean. Yep. But CJ Gardner-Johnson was another one I was interested in. And you couldn't find a better addition for what this secondary needs. This was a unbelievably shocking signing that I'm so hype about. This is a perfect fit. This is perfect.
It is. Right? Like,
yes.
When you talk about a secondary, you could, depending on what you do in the draft and who you bring in as far as, like, athletic linebackers and edge players go, like, it's not out of reason to think you could play a nickel defense consistently.
Yep. Absolutely, you can.
Tracy Walker will be back from injury at some point. Mm-hmm. Kirby Joseph, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Cam Sutton, Emmanuel Mosley. 5 names that we just ripped off right there. But we left somebody out. We did.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Actually, we left 2 people out because one of those names is somebody who deserves it. I don't think Jerry Jacob is going to be taking a Amani Owarie type regression. But somebody who did have a bit of a regression the second half of the season is Jeff Okudah. And that's a problem because to me, I don't know where he fits in this long-term plan, dog. I really don't. Like, you OD this much on, like, it would be one thing if they get 1 or 2 corners. You got 3 guys that puts him out. And Jacob played really good last season when he came off injury.
And re-signed Will Harris.
And you just re-signed Will Harris.
They have a very deep cornerback room.
Yes. Like, we've pitched. Sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You want me to go? Okay.
Yeah, I want you to go.
We pitched the idea of, like, being aggressive in the draft. I think Jeff Okudah is going to be one of the more interesting pieces that some of those teams in the top 5 could use. Arizona don't have a great secondary. They could maybe use him on a 1-year rental deal. Like, I wouldn't mind that. In this position right now, even with the corners they have on 1-year deals, like Mosley and CJ Gardner-Johnson, there's still guys who could be in your future plans if they pan out correctly.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't see where Okudah fits in that. I think he's going to be dealt on draft day, honestly. I don't see him coming into the season as a Lion next year.
That's interesting because you said that you commented on the live that you didn't think he would be around, and I was like, oh my gosh, I wish you were just here so that I could just be like, please unfold this onion for me. The versatility that they have created in the secondary is insane.
Yes.
Gardner-Johnson can play inside, outside, safety, corner, okay? Lined up at safety in 61% of his snaps last season, which was the most in his career because he had been playing corner. You also have a second-year player in Kirby Joseph who played a really good safety for you. Shout out Aaron Rodgers. But also was a quarterback in college. You also have Jeff Okudah, and I'm going to play devil's advocate on him just a little bit.
Okay.
Number one, very good tackler. In fact, his best grade defensively, according to PFF, is his tackling ability. And you talk about the regression second half of the season. It was his first full season in the NFL.
That's
How
true.
much did that take a toll on him?
That's true.
Like, I get the production wasn't there. And he graded out horribly, right? He was a 59.4 PFF overall defensive grade. 54.4 in coverage alone. But he's only 24 years old.
That's true.
And he's on a rookie deal with the ability to pick up a fifth-year option. He could still be in their plans. Especially if Sutton and Mosley ball out. Because what's being forgotten, I think, in all these team-friendly deals, what's stopping them around week 9 going, hey, Mose, I was 3 years, $30 million sound.
Yep.
Sign me up. Let's go. Right?
Very possible.
Boom, extended. Hey, Sutton, how's a couple more years and $20 million sound? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you put Okudah in the slot. He's only a slot corner to help in run support. His best strength.
Move him to safety then, if that's the case. Because he's getting lost in coverage. He was getting benched a lot. I'll give him credit. This was weird, actually. To start the season, he was one of the few shining pieces when this defense was looking at its all-time worst. He was one of the few players that was actually shining, but then Aubrey Pleasant was cut. He went to the Packers, if I'm not mistaken. And since then, he kind of just took a step back. The only real standout game that I can remember he had was when he had that pick six against Justin Fields. But I mean, it's Justin Fields, so picking him off is not hard. But anyway, I still believe that it creates a bit of so yes, even if he does have that upside, the depth around him is going to make it hard to be what we're expecting. And unless your expectations are clearly very low at this point, so
they're low. Like, he's not a starter in my mind. He might be your starting nickel corner. And I think, like, if I were putting a secondary out right now, depending on Mosley's health, right? I'd have Kirby and CJ Gardner-Johnson in the back, Sutton, and then Mosley at your corners. And then when you go to a nickel package, you bring Okudah into the slot. Because as a slot corner, you're not asking him to really trail down the field without help. If you have to cover a slot receiver on a seam, guess what? You have over-the-top help. It's a lot easier to hire a guy in coverage, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but I feel like, in my opinion, it's a lot easier to hide a guy in coverage from the slot than it is on an island one-on-one with some of the best. I mean, he went up against Justin Jefferson and shut him down.
That was his crowning achievement of the season, for sure.
DK Metcalf went off on him, even though, like, I was at that Seahawks game, right? It didn't feel like DK Metcalf went off on him.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Honestly.
It wasn't like, but he still had like $140, I think, and a number of receptions.
Yeah, Gino was going nuts.
I think it's easier to hide him in coverage as a slot corner to help in run support. Or, like you said, maybe make him into a free safety, strong safety, where he can just crash down. But the conversation is not Okudah. The conversation is CJ Gardner-Johnson.
Yes.
This is a steal. This is pure villainy.
Yes.
Like, this is the definition of villainy.
Yep.
highway robbery in a lot of ways.
He reportedly wanted to be back in Philly. They couldn't come to agreement on a deal. Opts for a 1-year tryout with us. Gets to reunite with his former defensive coordinator from the Saints in Aaron Glenn now.
And you're going to have coach on the Saints, Dan Campbell, so he knows him as well.
Exactly, yes. And with the resources to make your D-line and your linebacking core even stronger, we should be seeing some progression from him. But what it's going to look like, and even if it is in the nickel position, is that enough to hold on? Because Jerry Jacobs is doing that just fine, and he's going to be a lot cheaper. So,
sure.
I don't know.
The word of the night is flexibility.
Right.
Where you weren't flexible coming into the offseason. You have Brad Holmes. I say you, but it's literally Brad Holmes, and that's it. Brad Holmes has done a phenomenal job creating positional flexibility in the secondary.
Yes.
And that's important. There's depth. Because you feel comfortable like, hey, Curb, we need you to drop down at corner for a minute while CJ and Tracy take the backside. Because Sutton's not recovering from injury, right? Then he hasn't played corner in the NFL, I get it, but he was a pretty darn good cornerback for the Illini.
Right.
1 year, $8 million, though. I can't get over that number.
No.
25 years old.
The heart of his prime. It started his prime, if you be honest, yeah.
I was going after Tremaine Edmonds because he was 25 years old. Why did I not, that's what I'm sitting here thinking, what was I thinking in these suggested targets?
Probably didn't think it was possible. We probably thought he was going to just go back to Philly and keep that defensive core strong, but
then comes to Detroit and says that we have a better roster than Philly.
Yeah.
What?
Just crazy. Because he's very good, but the guys they kept in front of him were very Slay's older. He's good. They cut him, gave him 2 more years, and then let CJ Gardner-Johnson walk out the door. The Lions. It seems like for the past few regimes, they've gotten into these quasi versatile DBs that can play safety and corner. Yeah. Whether it was what's his name? I'm thinking of Bill Bentley, who they tried to do, Quadre Diggs, who they moved back and forth before somebody traded him like an idiot. But now you have a proven, unbelievably talented guy that's going to be very versatile, a leader, vocal. He's going to be everything this defense and this secondary needs.
He's already making waves. You see his tweet on Thursday?
Which one? What did he say?
All right, so Austin Bryant was a defensive end for the Lions. He wore number 2, who signed with the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah. And he retweeted the news and said, so I guess I got dibs on number 2? With a confused face.
With that,
I like it. I'm cool with
good.
That. Austin Bryant wasn't a factor. He had injury issues. It's not like he's yo, Hutch, I want 97, right?
Right, exactly. No, you can have 2, buddy. That's no one's gonna fight you for that. You earned that. You got it.
Are you still interested in a cornerback in the draft because of this?
To be honest with you, no. If there's only one guy I really would love, it would be Joey Porter Jr., just because I think he has unbelievable upside with his long arms and his skill set as a tackler and a cover. But honestly, no. I'm not looking at it as, okay, we have to have one early. We really need to make sure we get one that's going to promise and pan out. I'm not looking at it like that anymore. If they get a corner, cool. But it's not a pressing need, and I think the Lions look at it the same way at this point, honestly.
I'm kind of add depth to a strength, right?
Right.
So in a way, I'm still very torn on this. Still very torn on it because I'm if Christian Gonzalez is available at 18, do you take Christian Gonzalez?
Sure.
You know what I mean? Or if Joey Porter Jr. is available at 18. Now, obviously, it depends on what you did at 6. If they take the idea of trading up for number 3 to take Richardson, then you got to go defensive interior at 18. Mm-hmm. But I don't really know if it impacts the draft strategy. I don't think you spend one of your top 3 picks on a cornerback. And in fact, when we get to our draft sleepers here in a little bit, I'm gonna give you the second highest rated corner according to PFF. That's 81 on their big board.
Mm-hmm.
That's a sleeper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a minute. But the stoking of the fire of excitement just keeps happening.
It does.
And then yesterday they clear all this other cap space. And you're like, okay, what's going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Mad Brad is up to something.
This was it. This is one of the biggest surprises. And again, it's for the cheap. They're not in a position where they're crippled on any contracts where they can't maybe take a risk or a gamble on something. Like, at this point, everything is out on the table. It's a flawless execution of this free agency by Brad Holmes.
Flawless execution is the perfect descriptor.
Flawless. Victory.
Victories will come because of the flawless execution in free agency. And listen, with all this excitement around free agency, our attention does have to turn to the draft.
Yes.
Are you as excited about the 2023 draft as we are? Well, if you are, you're in for a real treat.
Join us for our exclusive 2023 NFL Draft live show where your favorite analysts, AJ, Eric, myself, and Dylan will be breaking down each first-round pick as it happens. That's right, we'll be reacting live with all the drama, surprises, and the jaw-dropping moments of this unbelievable draft that's on the way.
And guess what? We want you to be part of the action too. Share your thoughts, reaction, and prediction in the live comments, and we will interact with you throughout the entire first round of the draft. Don't miss a chance to engage with fellow Lions fans and have your voice heard.
Yes, indeed. So, mark your calendars for the 2023 NFL Draft live show with DSN, April 27th, hosted by Detroit Sports Nation. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single moment of this epic event. Bro, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for the draft.
I can't either. And we will see you there.
Yes.
Go Lions. Now, since we're talking about the draft, excuse me, we know who the top picks are going to be. Look, CJ Stroud is a top pick. Bryce Young is a top pick. Will Anderson's probably not going to be there at 6, even though we wish that he would be there at 6. We got a lot of questions last night on our live about picks 16 and 18. But what we wanted to talk about tonight, and we think is important, is for us to discuss sleepers. Maybe people who are lower down on the radar. Some people that could go under-recognized a little bit that the Lions might be able to take and could benefit them in the long run. So, Eric, no particular order, okay? I had to add the cornerback, so I've got 4. So if you got a 4th, you can go with that. So I'm going to start with that cornerback, okay, just to kind of get him out there. But I told you, the second highest rated cornerback, if you're looking for somebody maybe later, you don't want to spend those top draft capital on a corner. The second highest rated cornerback in 2022, according to PFF, is a guy named Darius Rush from South Carolina.
Okay.
Cornerback. 81 on their big board, which means you could probably get him in the 3rd round, maybe even able to trade up into the 4th round to get him, or there's a chance he may be there in the 5th round for you. But if you want a good corner that's a sleeper, you don't get a very high grade from PFF. I mean, CJ Gardner-Johnson had a 65 grade from PFF.
Mm.
This dude had a 77.9. Not bad.
Not at all. Not bad at all.
You got a name for me?
Corner is easily, corner is easily the deepest position in this draft. There's some talent in this position. I can't wait to see what they do. For me, I'm going to go to the other side of the ball to start off. This team was terrible this year in the Big Ten, but one of the standout players that I enjoy watching was Jaden Reed. I think he has tremendous upside with honestly wherever he goes. I think he's really got some an ability to be a good game breaker. Ran a 4.4 on the 40, had a pretty good combine. He was somebody that really always jumped out of the screen to me, even against like they're getting picked apart against Washington by 20 points. Yep. Like he was still making some pretty big, spectacular plays. Had some jump ball moments. I would like to see them get some size at receiver. He's not that big, but I do like his game and the way he plays. So I think he would be a good fit. I think he would be seamlessly in with Goff in this offense. I would love to see Jaden Reed with the Detroit Lions.
That's a 5th, 6th round pick.
Yeah. Which made you happy. Which made you very happy with a wide receiver pick.
Even though, what did I say last night on the live?
Please remind me.
That if Jalen Carter fell into their lap at 6 and Quentin Johnson is there at 18,
oh, yes, you did. Yep, you did say that.
I'm not opposed to that, but I don't love it because there's other areas that could be addressed. Linebacker specifically, because we all know that I don't like the Anzalone contract. I'm going to jump back to the other side of the ball, to defense.
Okay.
We've talked about defensive tackle, which is the one area they really have not addressed in free agency. It was mentioned on our live last night that they have like 3 defensive tackles on their roster right now.
Mm-hmm.
Most likely going to take a defensive tackle, hopefully within the first 2 picks. Hopefully it's either Jalen Carter or Kijana Kancey.
Mm-hmm.
However, we also said last night on the live that there's a very real possibility that they're going to double up on some positions. Defensive tackle would be a position they could double up on.
Okay.
If they waited a while, there's a guy out of Texas named Moro Ojomo, Nigerian born, who can be a stopgap kind of guy. He's not going to be a world beater, but he is a guy that can create depth on that defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
According to NFL.com, Ojomo is best suited as a base end and doesn't really have the get-off quickness to exploit interior blockers as an inside rusher on passing downs. But I saw him lined up in the 3 technique, the 1 technique. Saw him dominate there. He could. It could develop. If it's a 5th round pick, I'm not mad at it. Ojomo from Texas is my number 2.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I'm not mad at that at all. Okay. I'm gonna stick on defense too. They gotta correct this Anzalone thing. I'm sorry. They have to correct it. They have to get a boost up at linebacker. And my favorite player in the draft, I think I've seen him fall a lot. I think he has a very good chance of being a huge game breaker defensively. Trenton Simpson from Clemson, I think, is going to be a stud. And if he's in the Lions uniform, I think he has a very high chance of being exactly that. Very good in run support. Very, very athletic. I think he played weak side linebacker most of his time at Clemson. Was really good at getting to the quarterback as well. Had a lot of tackles for loss and also was productive in terms of blitzing and getting to the quarterback and rushing, which the Lions didn't do a ton of. They didn't do a whole lot of necessarily blitzing with the linebacker specifically. So I think he could be one of those game breakers, does have coverage skills as well. And I think he could be an easy upgrade and probably the best linebacker in just a few years if he develops with the Detroit Lions. I would love Trenton Simpson to be here.
2nd, 3rd round projection, most likely.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad there. I am going to jump back to the offensive side of the ball.
Okay.
It's not a wide receiver, so don't worry. But it's a guy that we actually drafted in our mock draft a few weeks ago, so you can go back and check that video out as well. But Dwayne McBride, the running back from UAB.
Yes.
Productive runner with physical athletic attributes according to NFL.com and could create an upward trajectory in the right situation.
Mm-hmm.
Who has the right situation for an upward trajectory? The Detroit Lions.
Ding, 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 ding.
Now, you have Montgomery, but you're losing Swift.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problem. 5th round, 3rd round, 5th round, maybe trading up into the 4th to get Dwayne McBride. Good, powerful runner. Doesn't have like the breakaway speed that a Swift would have. But given the right situation, has an upward trajectory.
I can see that.
That's what you're looking for in sleepers, right?
Yeah. Swift, Swift, we don't know what Swift's future is. It's up in the air like a few other people we just talked about. But yes. Oh, man. I think I'm going to get yelled at for this one.
Probably.
Everybody buckle in. I think I want to see the Lions upgrade at tight end. I think all of us do.
I honestly don't care.
But I want to. Okay. I do. I would like to see.
Not based on what those guys did at the end of the season and how comfortable Goff was with them. They don't need. They don't need to upgrade at tight end.
Maybe not, but I feel like Jared Goff is a guy who excels with the exuberant amount of talent around him, and even with this guy who may not be an instant starter right away, I think he could develop into one. I like Sam Laporta, tight end out of Iowa. I'm sorry. I know it's too soon, but he's not a first rounder. So we should be able to take it back and be okay with it. If we're getting defense, if we address the right offensive pieces.
I think I'm dying because of that suggestion.
I'm sorry. Somebody called out for AJ. I'm sorry. Laporta, I think, has high upside, man. I really think he's going to be a good player. I saw him in the game when he had over 100 yards against Illinois. He's a big target, 6'4", I think 250, 260. He's a big guy. And I like this, like I said earlier, I want to see them add some size in terms of the targets that Goff has. I don't know if they have any solidified pieces yet at tight end. They could afford an upgrade at the position. I would like to see Sam Laporta the Detroit Lions uniform.
Okay, well, moving on from that insanity. I'm just kidding. No, I'm kind of kidding. Whatever. I'd rather not. Can we?
I know it's soon. I know, but I'm feeling good.
Too soon. It's too soon.
Been good to us. It's okay. It's late. If it's late, y'all can't be mad at it.
You're not getting him late.
You could.
You might get him in the second round.
You think he's gonna go that high? I thought he would be maybe in the third, maybe 4.
According to the DSN Draft Bible, he's a cumulative rank of 64. So you're talking
wow. Okay.
Back half of the second round.
Okay.
Maybe not even there by the time you pick at 81.
But at that point, you should have already done some pretty good damage.
Sure.
So even if you do take that, I still don't think that's that bad. I know. I think we need to walk into it. Nobody, TJ Hawkinson's ghost is floating along the side.
You warned us. You told us to hold on to our seats. Of course you meant. Of course you meant it.
I just want us to be good. That's it. I just want the ratings. That's it.
But you set the tight end record for the franchise last year in touchdowns.
Yeah.
Hawkinson.
Between 3 different guys?
4.
Or 4, yeah, including Hawk, yeah.
But Hawkinson only had 4 of those. The other guys accounted for
game.
8.
Right.
9.
Mm-hmm.
And they each add a different dimension to the tight end position. Whatever. If they take Sam Laporta, I'm not going to be horrified by it unless it's too high. If he's there at 81, I'm okay with it.
Cool. Bet. That's not bad. You can rock with that.
I can rock with
by then, you should have done plenty enough damage on defense already.
Yeah. All right. My final one. And it's a quarterback. But we said last night on the live, this draft, you can get a good backup. Probably not getting a franchise changer.
No.
You might strike gold with one of the top 4. You might. But I think the odds are long. Because playing quarterback in the NFL is as much where you get drafted as how talented you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say whoever goes to the Texans is most likely going to be in the better situation than whoever goes to the Panthers, given what the Texans have done in free agency. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm drafting our backup. And you don't have to spend a higher pick than one of the 6th-round picks on him. Do I expect him to be a world beater? Do I expect him to replace Goff? Absolutely not. Read my lips.
We need that disclaimer.
He's not
across the
replacing Goff. That's not what I'm trying to do. But we need depth at the quarterback position.
You do.
One of the commenters was right. If your quarterback goes down, you're most likely screwed for the season. I'm with you. You're 100% right.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be nice to have somebody that could at least come in and keep the ship somewhat afloat. That's why I suggested Teddy Bridgewater, who I would draft in the 6th round to be the 3rd quarterback on the depth chart I've mentioned previously. And the more that I look at him, the more I like him. And his name is Clayton Tune from Houston.
There it is.
Do you know why I like him? 5th-year senior, so he's got some experience. 63% completion percentage in college last year. 4,074 yards, 40 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. 4-to-1 touchdown interception ratio.
Mm-hmm.
And he led his team in rushing with 544 yards and 5 TDs. So he accounted for 45 touchdowns last season. Oh, and everybody's making a big deal about AR-15 and his combine scores, right? You know who the second most athletic quarterback was in that group?
Mr. Tune?
Mr. Tune.
Wow.
He had an athleticism score of 89. Quarterback rank, 2nd. Now, he only projects to be a viable backup, an average backup, a special teamer, which is fine. That's why I'm not drafting him to be number 2. I'm drafting him to be number 3 and see what we have.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't have anything, great. It hasn't cost you anything but a 6th-round pick. And next year's quarterback class is actually the better quarterback class if you plan to move on from Jared Goff. Let's be very clear about this again. If you plan to move on from it.
Disclaimer.
And yeah.
The safety disclaimer. We know what's coming.
So on day 3, this is a name that we need to watch.
Okay.
Because if they don't draft a quarterback high, which I pray that they don't, they're drafting a quarterback.
Yeah.
We know that. They're drafting a quarterback somewhere in this draft. I'd prefer it's the 6th round. Maybe pick 183. What's their pick that they have? 183 or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
It's something insane. Yeah, 183. Use that pick to get Clayton Tune, and he's your 3rd quarterback. Sign Teddy Bridgewater. Sign Cam Newton. I don't care. If your backup has to come in, your season's more than likely over anyway.
Right.
So, but you don't want to be putting Jack Fox back there to be your quarterback. He's your punter. You need somebody on the depth chart. So my 3rd guy, sleeper, keep an eye on him. I think whoever gets him's getting an athletic guy. Could maybe like the dude from the Saints. What's his name?
Taysom Hill?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Look. Do I want Taysom Hill as my starting quarterback? No. But do I like the versatility that he has and his athleticism? Yeah, I do.
Yeah. As long as he doesn't have to do what a quarterback is supposed to do, throwing the football.
Okay. But this guy can sling it. He did it at Houston. And by the way, who's a former Houston quarterback that's been a really good backup in the pros? Case Keenum.
Okay. All right. He's serviceable, sure.
He took the Vikings to the freaking playoffs.
One of the luckiest plays in the NFL history. It
doesn't matter.
It's fine.
The scoreboard at the end of the game read Vikings more than Saints.
That's right. He gets his quarterback win, but nobody knows where Case Keenum is now. So, I mean,
he just signed another deal. He was with the Bills last season, and he just signed with now you got to make me man.
Exactly. Nobody cares about Case Keenum. I'm just saying, listen, I've nothing against Clayton Tune. I have no doubt about his upside and what he could bring.
He just signed with the Texans.
So he's okay. So like you said, he is with the Texans. Me and you are on the same page. I don't think they're going to even sign another quarterback. I don't think they're going to get Bridgewater and Cam. Best luck on your pro day you just had, bro. I don't think it's going to happen for you. I think they're going to stick with the plan of drafting a quarterback. I'm 100% with you.
I think even if they sign one of those guys, I still think they draft a quarterback.
Yeah. Okay.
And Cam's pro day, he made some Zach Wilson throws.
Yeah.
I don't know why we overhype these pro days. like, yes, you had to be accurate, but some of these guys, like Richardson in the combine, couldn't throw a simple out route.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure, it's not technically an easy ball to throw, but you still got to be able to hit it.
Exactly.
So,
even if you do, you're doing it against no defense in shorts in a comfortable environment. Like, it's not the same. It's not
the same at all. Listen, that is going to do it for us tonight. CJ Gardner-Johnson, thank you for choosing us.
We appreciate you.
We are so glad that you are here and the impact that you are going to have on this secondary, creating flexibility. Nobody knows who's going to be playing where, which is fantastic. You have capped an already great free agency period. And then our 3 draft, well, I had 4, but our draft sleeper, some guys to keep an eye on day 2, day 3. Save this video, share this video, like this video so that you know that we were right when those people get picked.
That's right.
Because we are Beyond the Box, your favorite Detroit sports show, which is coming at you now 4 times a week. Monday Night Live, Tuesday at 5, Thursday Night Live, and Friday at 5. Make sure you have liked and subscribed on YouTube. Pound that bell for all the notifications. He's Eric Vincent. I'm AJ Riley. We will be with you live for the draft show April 27th, and we cannot wait. We'll see you all Monday at 9 o'clock.